Okay, so say you're like me and you have this great idea for a graphic design project, but your resources are limited. For example, you have a logo with pretty small dimensions and resolution, but you need it for a larger project like a banner. Or maybe you have this screenshot that you want to make larger, maybe a meme or something. Maybe nobody has a high resolution screenshot of a 2000s comedy movie out there, and you really want to get those upvotes on Reddit for your meme skills. Now, I feel like everyone over 30 definitely saw that one coming. Anyway, I have a tiny image and a big idea, so what can I do? Well, is it possible to convert low-res graphics to high-res in Photoshop? Is it a pain, or can it be handled pretty easily? Well, in this video, we're going to teach you two methods for two different types of images. And spoiler alert, they're pretty easy. But before we get into it, could you just do us a little favor? If you're interested in these topics, please make sure to like and subscribe to this video so that you never miss an update. Oh, and go and check out the description below the video to find out how you can get a discounted subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud. We are just that helpful. With that out of the way, let's get on to the tutorial. We have two options for converting low-res to high-res images, depending on the media. They are called preserve detail and vectorization. One is limited, but can do in a pinch and is more suited for scaling things like photos or paintings. And we're calling this the preserve detail option. When working with most images in Photoshop, you're working with a raster image, which is an image made out of pixels. Now, when you blow pixels up, such as making them larger, the program must create new pixels to redraw the image to larger sizes. Usually, this results in blown up images being fuzzy or blurry. And this is the problem that we're dealing with when trying to make a low resolution image into a high resolution one. So that is why you can't just change the resolution and dimensions of an image in Photoshop and expect a good result. For the best results, use the largest, highest resolution version of an image that you have. To increase the size and resolution in Adobe Photoshop, we must be sure that a particular setting is enabled. Now, this setting is called Preserve Details 2.0. Now, what this does is it tells Photoshop to preserve as much of the detail of the image as possible when drawing new pixels and increasing the size of the image. This forces Photoshop to scale the image as large as possible without any extra unnecessary pixels. You need to go into the Edit menu, go to Preferences, and finally click Technology Previews. In those settings, you need to click Enable Preserve Details 2.0 Upscale for this method to work. Following this, you can go to Settings and Image Size. And here you can set the dimensions and resolution of the image. Now note there will still be some adjustments to be made after, but this is the most important step, especially setting the resample mode. Resample mode here refers to how the software calculates the size of the images based on sampling the pixel positions on the initial image. Instead of stretching an image, you're essentially just redrawing it. You'll need to select Preserve Detail 2.0 from the drop-down box. This is going to allow your size adjustment to create the most high-quality image possible. Following this, you can also use the slider to reduce noise. Noise is artifacts and errant pixels that can sometimes appear in images due to scaling and motion, getting in the way of sharp, clear lines. Depending on the visual noise in the picture, you may have to slide further to the right. For most images, 10% or under should do the trick. From here, you can also utilize some other techniques, such as high pass filter to enhance the image. And you can do this by duplicating your resized image layer, going to Filter, Other, and selecting High Pass. The High Pass filter provides greater edge contrast control, allowing an image to appear sharper. Using the slider, you can adjust the sharpness of the edges. Now, don't let the gray color fool you either. We'll be getting rid of that soon enough. We usually find that a 5 to 10 pixel radius works best for our projects. Well, once you've applied the filter to your layer, you can then go and click on the blending mode in the layers palette and set this gray layer to overlay. And this is going to sharpen your image while preserving the colors. This technique can be great for photographs or paintings where strong, solid lines are not overly important. However, there is a limitation here. When in doubt, you should always source the highest resolution images to work from when possible, though for times when that is impossible, using the preserve upscale method can do it in a pinch. So this method is very usual for photos or paintings where there can be a little less fidelity and shape. But what if you have something where line fidelity is essential, such as text or a logo? Now let's take a look at a technique geared more toward line-based images and logos. This method, if done correctly, can save you a ton of time in the future. We're going to be looking at vector conversion as a method of upscaling your images. And this is how you can convert low-res graphics to high-res in Photoshop and have a reusable and scalable image later. So let's imagine a situation where you take on a client who owns a small business and wants you to print their logo on a large banner. Now, it sounds easy enough, right? However, what if they only have a 72 dpi 600 by 300 JPEG of their logo? Suddenly the job seems a lot harder. Now, we're going to take that small raster logo and create a scalable vector image based on it. Remember that raster images are built from pixels. They don't scale easily. Vectors, however, are pure math. So the lines can scale based on the calculation that comes with the image size. Our first step will be to increase the image size to where it becomes easy for us to draw over it comfortably. So, well, the bigger the better. So to start, we're going to be resizing our initial image before we attempt to turn it into a vector. Now, depending on the graphics orientation, well, I suggest a minimum 2000 to 3000 pixel width or height on the largest side and set your resolution to 300 dpi. Trust me, your wrist will thank you for it later. Now, if you use the same method to upscale the image as we did by resampling with Preserve Details 2.0, your resized image will look sharper initially, saving you some work later. If there are any colors in the logo that you need to preserve, this would be an excellent time to save them to your library. Because for now, we need to change this image to black and white. Use the Windows shortcut Control Shift U or the macOS shortcut Command Shift U to change the image's color mode. Your logo or image should be sitting on a white background at this point. If it isn't, make any adjustments that you're going to need to. Now from there, you're going to need to turn it into a smart object for filters by going to the Filter menu and selecting Convert for Smart Filters. Once the image has been converted for smart filters, you can then go to Filters, Blur, and then choose Gaussian Blur. Our goal here is to reduce the jagged edges of our image by blurring to the point where the rough lines aren't present. You should be okay at 1 to 5%, depending on the image, of course. With your Gaussian Blur filter attached to the layer, which you can see under the layer in the Layers palette, you need to create a new adjustment layer. So, in the palette, go to Adjustment Layers and select Curves. You can now adjust the curves settings within the small window. Your goal here is to manipulate the triangles in the curved graph to sharpen the image and eliminate the gray halo that came from blurring the image. If you're comfortable with the output, you can merge the layers, begin recoloring the image, and convert it into a scalable vector graphic. Your first step in this process is to remove the white background, and you can use the magic wand tool to select and delete the white in the image. Or you can use Load Channel as Selection in the Channels tab, and then go and hit Delete on the layer to remove anything not included in the section. From there, you can reapply those colors from the original image that you've stored in the library. At this point, you should have a high-resolution image that you sourced from that low-resolution image. You could be done at this point, or you can go further and turn this into a vector. Now, to start this, Control or Command, click the image's thumbnail in the Layers palette to select the layer's content. You can select the object within the image and make them work paths. With your marquee tool selected, right-click an object, and on the pop-up menu, select Make Work Path. A 1 pixel tolerance, that should be enough. From there, use the Direct Selection tool and right-click on this object. In the pop-up menu, you'll then select Create Vector Mask. You now have a vector from a low-res logo that you can use in high-res projects. Export your vector to a program like Adobe Illustrator to reuse it for projects of all types. I suggest saving it as an EPS to reuse later. You can always open the EPS in Photoshop and set the dimensions manually. This results in clean, vectored lines at the exact scale that you're looking for. Ah! The same applies to Adobe Illustrator as well, but we'll provide you with even finer controls for your vector images. And voila! There you have it. You can now take those low-res graphics and turn them into high-res graphics in Adobe Photoshop. Depending on the image, you may be able to resize it with Adobe's built-in image resampling. However, if you want to take a shape-driven picture and turn it into a vector, you also have that option. You can always turn a raster into a vector in Adobe Illustrator as well, but this is a Photoshop tutorial, so we'll put our focus there. If you want to know how to create a vector from a raster in Adobe Illustrator, please let us know. We do hope that these tips have helped you in your graphic design journey. We thank you so much for watching the video. And if you like what you saw, please like, subscribe. And if you can do us a favor and hit that notification bell as well, we're going to be able to let you know when new videos are available. Also, remember that we are offering a discount on Creative Cloud Access. So please be sure that you go and check out our video description down below for more details. With that, take care and happy designing. Bye-bye for now.